Hey everybody, welcome back to December Daily 2023. I'm Allie Edwards, and this is story 6 in my December Daily album for this year. What I have on tap today is I am pulling this page out. We saw it a couple days ago as a potential page that I considered using. I think I had it in there for day 3 maybe. I want to use it today, and what I want to do is do a follow-up after yesterday. So if you remember yesterday, I used the loving page to talk about what the kids were loving. And so today I'm going to use this page actually to talk about what Aaron's loving, what I'm loving, and what Betty is loving. We're gonna give Betty a little voice here. So what I am thinking about doing, right? Super cute pattern paper here is I am going to use 3 of the pockets from the main kit. These are the cute stitched ornament pockets. I'm going to be layering them on top here, and then inside of each one I am going to be adding one of the plastic tags along with little tags that I am going to cut out here, one for me, one for Aaron, and one for Betty. And these are going to get layered on top of each other. I'm going to have a little ribbon on them. This is my initial plan anyway, and those will get tucked then into these pockets. I'm planning that I am just going to adhere these guys down. I'm probably going to use a little gold brad in the top. Again, use a little bit of ribbon just for this part that will be pulled out. I guess I need to think through just a little bit of what that will be like with the ribbon, and I think you'll just pull it up. That's initially where I'm going. I did run these through the Mink machine too. There you go. You can see some of that to making them gold there. And then I am thinking about creating a title on here that's just going to be like number 06 and then loving, using these puffy numbers and alphabet that I've had in my stash. Maybe putting, my initials, Aaron's initials, Betty, something like that. This is my initial thought. I'm also thinking about, I'm going to cut this out and see if this ends up working. But I think that one of the things I could do is cut these out and lay them on top of here, which is why I'm not going to adhere this page down yet. So let's pull this out. Thinking that I wanted to play around with this anyway and kind of see what does that look like. Do I have enough of these? So this is the other part of that transparency from, what did I use that on? For days 4 and 5. So you saw the back of it on day 5. So what I'm curious about, because that's what we like to do when we're playing around here, is if I cut this out and cut it off right here, because this is the part that doesn't fit. So if I just cut off the top, but then I come back down around here, and then can I use this in some of these, like this spot right here? Like, could I just layer that right on there? Which will be hard to see, but if you're in person, then you would have that little bit of texture. So I think what I'm going to do right now is cut these out and see, do I have enough, even without cutting them out completely? Do I have enough of these? I think that I will cut these out, and then we'll cut around each one individually and then figure out how am I sticking them down? How am I adhering them? Is that going to go through the sewing machine? Or am I going to hand stitch, or what do I want to do? So this was one of the things that I wanted to experiment with today as we tell the story of the things that Aaron and I and Betty, let's see. Okay, this is where I'm wondering I might not have enough because what do I need? I mean, really, technically I need one more side one, which I think, yeah, that one's too short. So I might not be able to do what I want to do here. Mainly I was just trying to think, do I need to, right? That's always the question. Do you need to fill in those spaces? I don't need to fill in those spaces. I don't have to fill in those spaces, but I kind of liked the idea of that. So I'm going to try to think through, do I want anything on there then? These I can use, I can put these aside. This is part of, why we like to test things out. Are there other things, maybe a photo that I could cut into that shape? I'm going to think, let's think through that. I think what I'll do then is I'll get these cut out the other things, get the other pieces ready. And while I'm doing that, I can be thinking about what other things could go into those spaces. So let's just cut these guys out. If you have the tag stamp set, you could also just stamp these that would be underneath there. They're the same, about the same size. And that could be, you could stamp and then write the things that you're loving on there, or whatever story you wanted to tell. Maybe it's, documenting something else entirely, but using the idea, this shape idea, as a home for your story, right? The tag shapes of what kind of things could you document on there. Maybe it's your different people's advent calendars. The girls have advent calendars here this year, but they did make up advent calendars. Of course they did. None of the boys asked for advent calendars or seemed to care about them at all, including Simon, who you guys know for years and years and years has had them. So we don't have a lot of advent calendars this year, which is just fine. I did end up making one. You might have seen the video or blog post for that I have hanging downstairs in our kitchen. And I've just been turning it over each day. Not necessarily doing the things, but like looking at it and thinking about it a little bit. My plate is already pretty full. Pretty full right now. Okay, so a couple things. One is, I know somebody linked, and maybe it was Amber, and Amber, if you're watching this and you hear me talk about this, she might have linked a punch that was that star shape. I don't have that, but that would be something that you could do if you really wanted that star shape to be cut out. I don't know that I care that much about that. That's what I'm kind of trying to decide. I don't think that I do. I might just make a little hole just so that I could put some ribbon through there. And I'm just cutting off along the edges. And then my plan was that each one of these would just sit on top of there. And then you would be able to lift it up. But maybe, yeah, I still want to do that. So there's a couple different things. I'm trying to figure out, what do I not love about this right now? Let's just go all the way through. Let's punch a hole in the middle of that circle and see, or middle of the star. Let's see what happens here. If we do some of the ribbon here. Actually, I think that's cute. I can't remember where it was, some other project I was working on, or maybe it was when I was doing foundation pages for these or something, but where I showed how I used a glue dot with the ribbon there. So sometimes I staple the ribbons, because I don't always like to tie them in a knot because it can be really thick. So I like to just take a glue dot and kind of roll it a little bit with my finger and then stick it behind there. That's what I did on the other thing, whatever that other thing was. But it's a nice way to, if you like the look of that together. So then you can lift it up and see, what am I loving right now? Going back to a coffee pot. We've been doing pour overs for a while, but I finally got a new an old school coffee pot again, like a 14-cup coffee pot. Partly because Anna has now been drinking coffee, and I love having it just ready for me in the morning. I'm using the auto feature so that I can auto have it ready. Okay, I think this is cute. I think, and it could even be, well, no, I want it to stick inside there. I love the idea of having it be a pocket. And I think that you could take this idea and run with it. There's other things that you could do, right? You could put you could put a photo on each one of these. That would be something that would be cute. Let's see, what else could you do? You could make it where you did multiple tags, so it becomes like a little tag booklet, you know, where maybe you have, you go bigger, just like I went bigger with the stamping yesterday. That might be something that feels fun to you. Those are the kinds of choices that you get to make, right? What, you know, how thick do you want these little guys to be? Or maybe you use this idea for the page that maybe you're going to do a 2x2 page with the tags. That would be another place that could happen. Okay, I'm using another glue dot. I'm still thinking a little bit about over here. I just kind of had one idea come to my head, which was, might be fun to draw, you know, hand draw something that would fit in that shape. I might go over to the computer and try that. Here, let's get this part set up first, and then I might go experiment with that, of what would that look like on a couple of these ornaments if there was some word art that I could either cut out with the silhouette or do something. Okay, let's get this, like I said, let's do this first. First things first. I know I'm not the only one that's like, oh, now let me think of 25 other things to do while I'm doing this one thing. I'm sure that never happens to any of you guys. Also, thank you for all the nice, fun tips that people were sharing for the fuse tool. I definitely want to try that again and see if I can have a better response to that. I think, not response, that's not the right word. A better outcome. Once again, I'm doing too many things at once. Better outcome. So some of the tips that I read in the comments for the fuse tool, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, this was back on day 4 or story number 4. Some of the people were saying, yes, definitely use either the metal ruler that it came with, or I have metal rulers here that I like to use, or a metal ruler that I like to use. So that was one suggestion. Another suggestion was to have a mat underneath it. Like, don't do it on my table. That was another thing that I saw suggested on there. What else did I see? Those were some of the common ones, and lots of other people saying that they have, you know, run into the same kind of issues. So I think, you know, it's probably definitely operator error. Okay, here we go. Let's get this guy down. I'm doing festive fun. This is Betty's, and again, I'm just using a glue dot here where that I'm sticking it down, like tucking it kind of on the inside there so that I can then, that one's not down far enough. Like that. There we go. Okay, so I like that part. That part feels great. And that could be the end, right? That could be good enough. And I could be like, okay, moving on. But you guys know how I roll. Now I gotta go and see if there's something else that I want to do for the inside of that. So hang tight. So I thought it might be kind of fun to, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to translate on here, but I thought it'd be fun to show you kind of how I'm doing this. So this is the digital paper file, and this is a program called Procreate that I can use on my iPad. And what I did is I opened up the paper in Procreate, and then I created a second layer by adding the layer there. And then what I'm going to do is I just wanted to see, like, if I'm going to use this that will then be opened in Illustrator or Photoshop or something. But this is where I wanted to play around. Like, maybe I could do a cut on the silhouette. I'm just trying to get the spacing right on here. So we know that I have like this one's full, and this one's full. But I could even write, you know, let's see, Allie, Aaron, Betty. I mean, and yes, these are all things that I could just handwrite on there too. But I'm kind of just thinking through. I could draw number 6 on here. And I could print this out. You can print it out then without the, without the underlayer. And so then it's going to be things that could lay on top. Like maybe I would want to, I could print it on a transparency and it would be this, the fit on top of the paper. So that's something that I could do, just laying it all on top there. I could cut them out. I could individually take the word art and take it over into Illustrator and then make it into something that I could cut in the silhouette. So there's lots of things that I could do with this. This is where I do almost all my word art these days is in this program. But it's pretty fun and I know Linda does this some too. Linda Jordan does this some of, fun to be able to play around with different things on here. Mainly, I just wanted to show you how that works. So what I'm thinking about doing, the main thing that I'm thinking about doing right now is doing, let's see, I gotta get in the right spot, pen tool. I'm like upside down and in the wrong space. But if I could make a piece of that and that I could cut with my silhouette or that could be printed on the transparency, I could also just do like patterns on here. That might be fun too. I'm kind of considering playing around with the idea of printing it on transparency. And maybe what other things could I put on here? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, just so you get an idea of kind of how I am doing this. This is where this kind of thing happens. All right. So what I decided to try, let's see if this works here, is transparency, foil on transparency for my title. Voila! Oh, that turned out. That looks so good. Which says currently loving. And I know that I'm kind of doing the same story as yesterday, but it's a different day and it's different people. Okay, so that turned out exactly how I hoped it would. So my plan is that I want to cut this out. And there's different colors that you can use here too, depending on what you're doing. I'm going to use this to cut it out. And then it can live on top of that guy. Try to get it kind of in the place where I want it. And then the other idea that I had as I was working on my iPad there and was kind of thinking of that idea of, oh, maybe I would, do some dots on the iPad, but I could just do them with paint pens, add dots or stripes or something else. So I'm considering that. I'm letting that marinate for a couple minutes while I do some of these other things here. So I'm just going to cut around here. This is going to give me the correct shape for there. You could layer this on top of a pattern paper or something else. I'm not going to really worry about that top part. I'll probably just cut that off anyway. Let's see. Go back down on here. Actually, I might cut that because maybe I'll want to attach this. Make sure I'm not moving it too much. Okay, good. I'll just get in there kind of right now and then we can go back. So what I'm going to do, I'll give you guys this word art file on the blog, and you could do the same, something similar where you're running through a Make machine, or you could just print it out and have it fit in that shape there. Lots of things that you could do. Okay, so I'm going to trim down that top. Get it more in the right spot. This could also be cut out on a silhouette into this shape, and you could use the foil quill if that's something that you've been testing out. Some of you guys have seen me play with that a little bit this year. It's super fun. Okay, let's see. I feel like that's kind of close enough. It's also kind of really bad cutting. But when you're doing it by hand, it's almost never going to be perfect, right? So we're just gonna get what we get here. Okay, I think I'm going to be fine with that on there, and I can attach it with another one of those brads, which is what I was talking about doing. So the other one I have here is I have this one because I'm thinking that this would be a really nice spot for me to put in the number 6 for story number 6. So I was just going to trim around the outside. I could have used the other one that I already cut out, but I liked this one because it had a blank center. And in this case, again, I'm just going to trim this one right off at the top there. And I'm giving a little bit of extra around the outside edge, basically kind of having a clear border here. So that one would essentially sit right there. Think about that. Okay, and my plan was that I would just go like the O and the 6 on top there. Let's just see what that... Okay, I like that part. Now, the question becomes, am I brave enough to do polka dots with the paint pen? I think I am. I am. Because worst comes to worst, I could cover them up, right? I could go through, I could cover up these spots if I really don't like it. Okay, so I'm going to take all this stuff. Wait, I got to remember where these go, though. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do it. We're doing it, people. But I want to practice place. Okay, so these are Posca paint pens. I love them. I use them in lots of mixed media stuff. I find that they are extra good for dots. They work great for that. So I'm just going to go right in here, and I'm just going to do it. Because we are brave. We are brave makers. And I think I'm just going to do polka dots on all of them, not stripes or anything else. So I'm just going to kind of go around and vary the colors. Let's see what this one looks like. That one's definitely that lighter green, so maybe put this one down here. And if you press harder with these paint pens, you can make bigger dots too. But I kind of like that. Then let's get the traditional green in here. And I always like to have some that are kind of going off the bottom. Right, then it looks like it was just sliced off rather than all the little dots being on the inside. Okay, I'm liking it, I'm liking it. Here's our bright red. And then what I want to do is repeat those up here, and I want to do the bright red again up on the top. This is making me very happy. I'm happy with this choice. These paint pens are great for writing too. They look really cool. The white one is excellent on a colored background. Okay, so that's that one. I also wanted to do the dark. That's kind of a, let's see what that one looks like. You could also do black. Black would be good on here too. This one's going to be almost black. And I am going to let these dry a little bit because I can see, especially this one, I think out of all of them seems really wet. So we'll give that one a little bit of time. Okay, and then I think I will do the dark red again. I'm going to do that over here. Okay, this is, yay. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna do this bright green on this side. And if by chance you haven't seen the mixed media collage ornaments that I did this year, I worked on them the last few months. There's some videos up of those, and I definitely used paint pens in those, and I 100% love how that, I did like a wall hanging. So fun how it turned out. Okay, and then let's use the main green again up on here. You could also, you could do gems, or I've seen, whatever the little sparkly things are that people do where they use their tweezers and they like glue little, is that gems? I don't know, I've never done that, but looks cool. This might be a fun place that you could add some of those in as well. Okay, that, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with that choice. That's a good choice. Red. Okay, so let's see what I want to do next. I'm actually going to adhere these guys down on there. So let's go ahead and do that. And I do want to use brads with them. So I think that I can let's just pull these out for now. Okay. Just gonna lay that right on top, and that's where I'm going to put the brad in there. Something else I want to say about this is I am really happy that I waited until, that I didn't use this, whatever, on that. I think it was the big picture of Simon. That's the day that I originally had it on there. I'm really happy that I waited because I don't think that I wouldn't have used this as the loving page. It was like I needed the other days to happen first before I was able to bring this one to life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that one's going to get cut along over on the edge, but I think what I'll do first, I'm going to grab my paper piercer so that, I'm just going to move these off here for this second here. Actually, also, it would have been very cute to just do multicolored dots, like had them be not just all one color in each one, but have them be varied. Well, that was one of the ones I was going to use. I've got adhesive on the back of this page. Okay, so we're going to stick this through here. And then these are some nice flat matte gold brads that I think look cute on there. Pressing the feet down, the feet of the brads. Okay, so those guys are done. Let's deal with this thing. I think I want to do the same thing with this one and just use, you can see if you're looking very close, I don't know how it looks, but it's a little bit bigger, like it cut out a little bit bigger, which is fine around the outside, so it just looks like it has a border. I was trying to get it mainly on the top. So this one I'm not going to adhere down on the back. I'm just going to use a brad to hold that in place. Hopefully. Okay, let's see if I can stick that one down. I'm going to be like, yes, that's good enough. So I need to cut off the outside edge of that one. So I'm just going to use my scissors and go right down along the edge. And again, like I said, that one could have been layered on something else too. That would have been fine. Other questions I have. So one of the things is I'm looking at this. I'm curious about putting something right up in that space right there, like a bit of ribbon or maybe washi tape. Even just a tiny little bit on the top. I don't know. Let's see what that looks like. These are like some of my ones I've had for a million years that I love, love. You know, they could go along there too. Ooh, I always love that. But what I was wondering about is just right on that top part. This is also one of my favorites that I've had for a long time. Some of you guys might have that one in your stash too. Oh, it's such a good one. Okay, so if that was sitting right there, what would it be like if I just had the Mary on top? I don't know if that's... needs to be like, what is my purpose? That's cute though. The Mary, ooh. And then I find stuff like this in my stash where I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Would that fit on there? Not really. There's so much stuff. Okay. You know what I'm going to do with this one? I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to just do a little zigzaggy stitch on there. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think that's still not it. You guys know how I love my imperfect stitching. But I think that's going to hold it. It caught it. It's going to hold it in place. Kind of makes me want to do a zigzag on there. But whoa. I think I'm going to just leave it. Just have my one little spot of stitching. Okay. Let's see. So this guy, actually I'm going to do it one more time because I think I didn't get it. It's not far enough in there. And of course that one went too far. It's fine. Sometimes when you go too far like that, you know, see now it's all just off of the one edge. Now I just got to go back in and I got to make it go off the other side too. I feel better now because now it's just a big, a big mess on there. Yes, but it does beg the question of this. Do I want something else on there? Let's put all this stuff in the pockets and then see how we feel. Okay, remember, this is the story. Woo! And you can just lift these up to see that there. Stick those in the pockets. Festive fun. Okay, so then the last thing that I was talking about doing, kind of turning those to the side. All right, let's see what else do we want to do. I was talking about putting our initials, each one of our initials on there. Me and Erin and Betty. But I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to do that or if I want something else. I do think I am going to stitch on this one though, because I want that repeated on this side. So I'm going to stitch across there. Okay, yeah, I feel good about that. All right. I think I need to put brads in here. Anybody else feel like that? Do you ever, when you're watching these videos, are you talking to the video? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me through the video? Are you telling me what I should be doing? How I should change my mind? I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, I feel better about that. This one needs it too, for sure. Another thing that would be fun or cute on top of these ornaments is another thing that you could consider doing if you're working on a page like this or just with the ornaments is doing like lines of washi tape, like washi tape patterns over the top of them. I think that would be really cute. This needs to be punched for the album hole. Going with a little holly jolly here. I'm going to put it right on top of where the stitching is, like just as another layer. Okay, now the last thing is just deciding how do I feel about this. Do have these, I only have white, I don't have gold in these, so I think I'm going to do it. Let's figure out who's who though. That's Betty. I'm going to need to move that M over. I like too how this ties into the initials that I did for the kids yesterday. It's just a nice identifier. Okay, so that's AM. I'm AE. And I don't know what, I'm not sure. Betty, does Betty have a last name? I kind of need to figure that out, don't I? Could use Puffy stickers for the, you know, like foam thickers. If you're doing something like this, you could have stamped the same ones as I used yesterday and cut those out. That could have worked. All right, that was really fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today while I worked through this particular story. I love the evolution. I love the opportunity to play and get stories told at the same time. Okay, so what I need to do next then is just adhere this to the back, yesterday's back, and then tomorrow we'll be playing around with these chipboard frames with some story to be revealed. To be revealed tomorrow. Okay, that was still so fun. All right. Let's adhere those back to back, stick them in, and we'll move on. Okay, awesome. All right, so be sure to check the blog post if you're just happen to be only watching this on YouTube. If you are interested in that currently loving word art, I will have that as a download for you guys over there. And thanks so much for being here today. We'll see you guys back here again tomorrow.